Today's guest on Chef to Chef is an amazing friend, amazing chef, uh, world traveled chef. Um, he has a lot of accolades to his belt that he doesn't talk about a lot. He does a lot to help other chefs out, other restaurants out. Uh, Chef Amadeus. Uh, we'll get into everything he has going on. Me and him been was joking behind the scenes and things like that. We're always joking when we get on the phone. So it's like I said, he's a great friend. This would be a great interview, great time to promote everything he has going on. Chef Amadeus, take it away and tell us who you are.
So thank you for having me on the show. Thank you so much. So I'm Chef Amadeus. I'm out of Jacksonville, Florida. Where do I start? I
It's
guess
hard when you have a
I
track
just
record like yours.
my track record. You got to click me with a calendar, not a stopwatch. So let's see. I was a cook. I started my very first job. It's helped me out tremendously to this day, and that job was at McDonald's. Believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's. Um, but then like I said, I worked in different restaurants. Went to the Navy. I was a cook in the Navy. Um, got out the Navy. Started cooking in. I went to school. Didn't finish, and then I started working in high end restaurants and hotels and all
Mm-hmm.
that good stuff. Um, and like I said, I just became one of these people that I wanted to cook because it was the only thing that I could do where I really didn't have to think about things. I didn't have to really say, really put any focus behind it. It was a passion for me. And then, like I said, in 2000, I moved to Seattle, and then I was there for 11 years. And then in 2011, I won on the Food Network on a show called
Mm-hmm.
Extreme Chef.
I was talking to
Um,
someone about that. I said, you know what? He was one of the first chefs that won an actual competition on the Food Network. And nobody realizes that. Nobody realizes that. I remember that.
anyway, what's I ain't gonna, but here's my thing. When I won on the Food Network, everybody was focused on that I won, focused on the prize money that I won. But for me, I was more focused on the fact that I won and how I won.
Mm-hmm.
Because every chef has their own philosophy on their cooking style and techniques.
Yeah.
Well, when I had the opportunity to put my philosophy up against the chef that I went up against, he graduated from the CIA. He did all this stuff, opened four or five
Yeah.
restaurants. I didn't own any. I still don't own a restaurant. Never finished culinary school, but I won, and the dish that I won with was a dulce de leche crusted skirt steak with a charred salsa. And then, so we had the same ingredients, but
Yeah.
because of the way I thought and I think is what's going to set me apart. Because if you look at our food, it looks the same.
Yeah.
So I took grainy mustard and put it on a spoon. And they asked me, why did I do that? I said, whether you like it or not, some dude just put grainy mustard in my mouth. Because grainy mustard is something that you cannot
Yeah.
forget. You like, yeah, that was in my mouth.
Yeah.
So I was more excited that I beat someone that had all these accolades of, CIA and,
Yeah.
5 restaurants and all that. I was like, you know what? I'm good. And when I talk to young cooks, I always tell them I won that competition because my passion overrode his
Mm-hmm.
ego.
Yeah.
I have a passion for cooking. If you call me a cook and I'm not going to go off and be like, no, I am a chef and not this and da, da, da. Whatever. That's what I do for a living. I cook for a living. I have a passion to cook. Everything else will follow in place. So
Yeah.
I did that in 2011. Then I moved back to Jacksonville. But all the while, I've always been involved with the best pool of cooks anywhere, which is the high school culinary programs. ProStar,
Definitely.
FCCLA, Skills USA.
Yeah.
Those kids that are in those programs, you know, the chefs. Some chefs always say, "Well, we don't have any good cooks, so we go to Craigslist."
Hmm.
When you go to Craigslist, you're getting exactly what
Yeah.
you paying for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the things I always say to chefs is this: the same way you're preaching to the media that you're a farm to table type of restaurant, treat your kitchen the same way. Go to the
Hmm.
farm, the high school
Yeah.
kids, mentor them
Mentor the. Yep.
so you can have them in your restaurant. So you don't have to say, well, there's no good cooks because you didn't train any.
Yeah.
Because and then the other thing that chefs do, I've seen a lot of them is they don't let their cooks express themselves. They hire people
Well,
to cook
partly,
their food. That's
partly
it.
because we all know as chefs we're arrogant. And we've had this conversation before. As chefs, we're arrogant. We have to get out of that arrogancy and say, listen, I have a chef that's doing great work with me. I'm not going to hinder them because this is why chefs, sous chefs, or other chefs, we want to move up in the business. So a lot of times when chefs aren't teaching us, we say, okay, I know enough. I've learned enough here. I'm going to move on. So a chef, no matter how much they want to move up, will follow a great chef that's a leader versus just a boss. And if you're just the boss as a chef, you could be an executive chef, director of dining, beverage, or whatever it is, wherever it is. You can be all of that and still not be a great leader. All you are is just a chef. And if you're not building anyone else up to take your steps or to take your place when they're ready, then you haven't done yourself enough of a service as a chef, and you haven't done this culture, this culinary culture, enough of a service to say I've brought people up behind me because my arrogance has been in the way.
Well, I had the opportunity to work with some chefs that were very arrogant, but I've also worked with one particular chef that literally would let me come up with a special.
Yeah,
And he not just come up with it, but I would come up with it and he would tweak it and
yeah,
all this stuff to it, but at least let me go on there. I think one of the other things that is quite interesting is that when chefs are um, they have someone behind them, like a young cook, not even a sous
yeah.
chef, a cook that's freaking amazing, a rock star. They never shine the light on them.
It's that fear. But here's the thing: with doing specials, that's where you're supposed to find your rock stars at. And if you can't find a rock star in your own kitchen, something's wrong with you as a leader.
It comes down to this, and I preach this all the time. I want to be the type of chef that create passion cooks
Yeah,
versus paycheck cooks.
yeah,
Because passion cooks show up just because they don't want to miss out what you're going
yeah,
to teach them, who they're
yeah,
going to meet. Paycheck cooks show up because they like, I'm be here from 2 to 10,
yeah,
done.
yeah.
I ain't got to do nothing extra. I ain't staying after. I ain't helping nobody. I'm just done.
Now, where do you find which side of the country? Because you travel a lot. Um, I'm not just being honest. You travel the country a lot, and
Yes.
where do you find that's more prevalent, if anything? Is it southern, northeastern, western, wherever? Do you find it's prevalent in one area versus another area, or is it just each individual chef?
It's a chef thing. It's
Mhm.
totally a individual chef because you can have a chef in New York that can't wait to train somebody
Mhm.
to move up, and then you have the same. Then you have another chef in New York that just arrogant or whatever, like you do what I tell you to do and call it a day.
Yeah,
So it's not any particular part of the country, um, but I will say this: I believe that the chefs that really deserve these accolades, they don't get them because it's
definitely.
overshadowed by what's the word I want to say?
Uh, no, I
So,
get it.
so here's my thing. Hold on. Here's my
I
thing.
get it.
People always, I always say this about the media. You ask the right questions, but you ask the wrong people. The right question
Yeah.
is this, and I know you've heard this. Where are all the black chefs at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the problem is that's a great question. But if you ask somebody that's not in the circle of
Yeah.
black chefs, then you don't know. They're gonna tell you who everybody else sees out there. They'll
Yeah.
mention
Yeah.
the Samsons and everybody else. But when I did my podcast, the Southern Passion Lounge, for
Yeah.
5 years, ask me where all the black chefs
Hmm.
are, and I will tell you some names. You be like, I
Yeah.
ain't never heard of that person.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them. Like the one person I really like to bring up is like Wayne Johnson. A lot of people know Wayne Johnson, but then there's somebody in Seattle called. His name is Harold Fields.
Hmm.
So Harold Fields, he does Japanese food.
Yeah.
He's a brother, you know.
And you're trying to figure out how. But that's what one thing me and you talked about before is going places and saying, okay, you know what? I want to go somewhere because it's unique. I want to go and see and know who the chef is here and say, listen, let me give me something that's not on your menu. If okay, when you went to Seattle and you go to Seattle often, and I'm using that as a lot, like you go to Atlanta a lot. It's like let's go to the restaurants that's not on the beaten path. Let's go
Right.
to this nice little mom and pop spot and find the best food, the best flavors, something that's not being done. When I was an international chef, I did that. And it was like, how did you learn how to cook internationally? I traveled.
You travel.
I traveled. I went to these restaurants and sat there and said, listen, I'm going to come work for you for 2-3 months while I'm here. Pay me whatever you can. And I'm okay with taking a little bit of money and learning and then moving on to the next restaurant in 2-3 months because now they're saying, listen, even if you slept on the floor, how many times you go to a restaurant and you're there 18, almost 20 hours a day and you slept on the floor, got up the next morning, washed up, went right back into the kitchen, started doing it all over again because that was what that passion was at that time. A lot of times you don't nowadays you don't get that because we're so money, not I want to say money hungry, but we're so money forward thinking as far as needing money for bills and stuff like that to where that portion of the passion has gone. You go talk to a lot of younger chefs, and this is not a knock at young chefs. You go talk to a lot of young chefs, and it's like, okay, why are you? And I ask the question, why are you going to culinary school? Oh, because I like to cook and I think I can make some money on it. Wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. If that's why you're going to culinary school, that's the wrong answer. So, but like I said, me and you've talked about this for years about these things here. Let's get back to focusing on you. You have a spice blend, a few spice blends out on the market right now.
Yeah. So
What about those?
I have three. The Southern Rub,
Uh-huh.
it's for grilling. And the great thing about, let's back up. So I have the Little Bump and the Chino 5. The Little Bump goes with everything. There's no salt in it, none of that. The Chino 5 goes with everything that has that you do cinnamon with. So I use it for
Mhm.
my Asian cuisine. I
I've
use it
seen that in
for
drinks and a few recipes for different drinks, and I'm like, I gotta see
look.
that. I
And
gotta see that one.
then the Southern Rub. The great thing about the Southern Rub, I've been doing the Southern Rub for years,
Yeah,
and on ribs and everything. And people's like, you know what? You need to bottle that. You need to bottle that. I'm like, okay. Then it got to the point where I was like, okay, let me go ahead and blend this up. And as soon as it hit the market, boom, it is down south. And that's
yeah,
another thing too. Certain my spices, well, all spices are for different parts of the country. And I say that because like people say, well, take your little bump and go to New Orleans. I can't do that. New
yeah,
Orleans has their own little
yeah,
thing that they do. Um, but the Southern Rub has been meant a lot to me because it combines the little bump and the Chino 5, and it has coffee and it has brown sugar in it. And the coffee that I use is the same coffee that my grandmother used to drink when I was a kid.
ah,
So all that comes together with that.
yeah,
And you know, and talking to other chefs that have other products, from books to spices and things like that. You know, it's a nice community. I was just talking with Marissa Baggett. You know,
Yeah.
she has a sushi. She has two sushi cookbooks, and that's another chef that nobody's like, well,
Mhm.
who's Marissa Baggett? I'm like, hey, listen, she's a black female chef, a black female sushi chef. So don't even worry about that. But that's a whole nother story. Um, but you know, I like to take these spices, and during this time that we're down right now,
Yeah.
what my spices have been doing is when people purchase my spices, it gives me the opportunity to give back to people in need. So I do a lot of cooking for families. I
Hmm.
work with like we just fed about 30 families here. I reached
I saw
out
that the other
to
day.
yeah, so I reached out to a farm produce company, and they donated like 3 cases of cabbage, and that
Hmm.
fed so many people. Um, then I'm getting ready to work with the USO. I work with the USO here in Jacksonville,
Yeah.
uh, cooking for those families and things of that nature. So my thing is always giving back is part of it. And when I say giving back, I'm to the point now where when I have interns come to work with me, the first thing I tell them is, you got to go do volunteer work. I don't care
Yeah.
what it is. And
Yeah.
they wonder why. I said, because you don't realize it now, but that's going to keep you so humble. Because what you're complaining about now, when you go work with somebody that don't have that,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, okay, I get it now. I
One
get
thing
it
that
now.
you do, if not better than anyone else that I know, is you promote other people as far as business wise, chefs, um, restaurants, and things like that. If you go into a restaurant and you really, really like this restaurant, as a chef, you'll sit there and say, okay, you know, I'm going to promote this restaurant because I'm going to meet the owner, I'm going to meet the manager, meet the chef, tell you I had a great experience here. You do that and put it on your social media. A lot of people don't do that. So that's something that's commendable as a chef because, like I said, we'll go to places and we'll critique it as much as possible, even though we're not trying to. But you'll sit there and say, you know what, I had a great experience here. You're not about the the uh, 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 the pomp and circumstance of it. It's okay. I had a great experience here, so I'm going to promote this business. And a lot of people, if you go to your pages and your social media stuff, they'll see so many restaurants that you've been into, or so many chefs that you've talked to. Um, I'm going to go there because Chef Amadeus said it, and
Well,
that's something that's commendable for a chef. Because a lot of chefs they go to chef pages, they don't do it. They don't do it because I don't want to critique someone else, and they get upset with me. Okay,
well,
it's part of what we do.
well,
It's part of who we are.
well. Here's the thing about that. I like doing that because it doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
Not a thing to say,
But you
hey, there's
gain
good.
friends, you gain comrades, you gain people that you understand that understand who you are and things like that. So that's why I said it's something that's not unheard of, but it's something that's few far in between. So that's like I said, that's for me.
Well,
Ever
thank
since
you.
I met you years ago, I don't want to tell your age, but since I met you years ago, that's the one thing I've noticed about you. Other than you always carried your mortar and pestle with you everywhere you went.
Yes, the pistol and mortar, the P-long.
I get that.
Well, here's the story behind that. The picture that you guys showed at the beginning, that that was the P-long that I cooked with as a kid with my grandmother.
Okay.
And so when I was in Seattle, well, after my grandmother passed away, my mom gave me that and the black pot that I cooked in as well.
Got it.
When I was in Seattle, someone stole it,
Oh,
and I cried like a
that had to crush.
2-year-old. Oh, dude, it crushed. And so I was so hurt. I was afraid to tell my mom what happened. But my mom, so I was afraid to tell my mom. But I told my mom, I said, "Hey, somebody stole, Nana's pilong." She said, "Baby, as long as you got the memories, you'll be fine."
Yeah.
That's
You know
like,
what?
I
I
like,
get it. I
all
get it.
right. So, but when I went to Haiti, I wound up getting two pilongs,
Hmm.
and that one came from the U.S. ambassador's house, and then the other one came from a restaurant I was a guest chef in, and that was being a guest chef at the U.S. ambassador's house with the Haitian chefs.
Yeah.
Big shout out to David Destinoble. and
Yep.
and Chef Stefan, they hooked all that up. Matter of fact, we were in the dessert that we did, and came up on my memories. The dessert that we did for the ambassador, Chef David, and the chef from the ambassador, the mansion. We came up with that dish sitting in a sushi bar in Haiti. It was it was a sriracha ice cream with a deconstructed baklava. It was so good. Oh my! But we're sitting in Haiti in a sushi
Yeah.
bar. Came up with this idea.
But you know
Um,
what? Okay, you've named the two chefs that you named from Haiti. When you track them and look at them, they're great. Honestly, great chefs. They're great chefs. So when you get three chefs in a room, you can make a great dish, as long as no one says it's all of my idea or no one's idea.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I get that 100%. So
It,
as
it,
far as pushing the culture for the future, what are you doing right now because of the situation that we're in with the pandemic and things like that? How are you preparing yourself for the future or the next 5 years? Or what do you see is going to happen to the culinary world in the next 5 years?
well, I see that. I'm hoping that the younger cooks see that they have to be more than a one-trick pony.
Got it. Got it.
The chefs, I hope they see they can't be a one-trick pony. So like for me, I've been doing a lot of outdoor cooking in Dutch ovens and all this
Yeah.
stuff here, teaching people about hurricane. The crazy part about that is I've always done that. I've
I was
always
about to
cooked
say
at
that
Dutch ovens.
that was your secret to success on the Food Network. That the season that you won, I knew that then, and I'm like, okay, this is what he does. It outdoors is what he does. I'm
I'm
not fire
comfortable.
cooking. That's what you do. I get it.
So when I'm like the other day, I just cooked bread in the Dutch oven. Matter of fact, I'm making bread right now. But
Hmm.
the thing I tell people all the time is, there's people who love to cook, and there are people that love the process of cooking.
Yeah.
And the process of cooking starts with your prep work, with your mise en place. Some chefs don't like to prep. They're like, I got a sous chef for that. I got to
Yeah.
cook for that. No, no, no. Get
Yeah.
in there and you prep everything and do everything like that. So I like
That's
the
when you're too
process
big
of
for a kitchen.
cooking. Yeah, I mean, so I'm right. What I'm doing right now is I'm doing a lot of Dutch oven cooking, teaching people how to cook in Dutch ovens. The other thing, simultaneously, I'm teaching people how to get ready for hurricane season.
Yeah.
I'm teaching people how to go camping. People like, well, I want to go camping. What do I need to do? How do you do this? And when they talk to me and I take them through the gambit, they're shocked. They're
It's a totally
excited.
different mindset of cooking outside on an open flame, and it's a totally different technique. People say I can get in the kitchen and cook, but you're not going to be able to cook if you don't understand cast iron cooking. Then you can't cook outside.
Because
If you don't understand
there's
open
no
flame cooking,
thermostat.
yeah. If you don't understand open flame cooking or indirect heat cooking, where you have something leaned up against the fire, not directly over it, it's a totally different mindset.
When
It's
I was
totally
in Seattle, see, when I was in Seattle, I learned how to do the cooked fish like the Indians did. Put it
yeah,
on the wood, lean it over to
yeah.
the fire, those type of things. So I'm always intrigued by the different techniques of cooking. So I can go from fine dining to digging a pit in the ground
Yeah,
and cooking the
yeah,
same thing like that. So that's my thing, and that's what I try to teach the younger cooks is, let's expand, do collaborative dinners. So after this all is over, I plan on hitting the road and doing collaborative dinners with some of my chef friends
yeah.
and pull in those young cooks. Like, listen, this is now one thing that young cooks find interesting is when they always want to be the chef, but when they get around a bunch of chefs, they notice this. Why nobody want to take the lead? I said, because
Yeah,
nobody really want to be the chef.
yeah, yeah. That
We don't want
that
the
that
responsibility.
happens. That happens. Go to a lot of culinary associated meetings, and you
Yeah.
can see who wants to be the person that the room gravitates towards. And it
Yep.
happens. You walk into a room, it's like, okay, everybody's gravitating toward this person because either their stature or their who they are, or whatever. But it's like when the younger generation of chefs are able to do that, that makes them a lot better, because now you start learning and say, you know what, come with me. Tell young chef, come with me. We'll do this. Let me show you how to do this. Let me teach you this. Let me teach you something that you don't learn in school. Because someone had a conversation, and this was my daughter was at Johnson and Wales, and one of the students there was like, "Chef, we don't learn stuff in culinary school." And I said, "Okay, how did you learn how to walk? Somebody had to teach you. How did you learn how to do this? Somebody had to teach you." So the same thing about culinary school. They're teaching you the basics. Everything else you have to learn by doing. And if you don't have a chef that's willing to help you, or someone willing to work with you to teach you that, then you're just going to be sitting there saying, "I didn't learn this in school," and
Well, the
that doesn't
problem with
help
that
you.
is,
Or you don't join enough associations like, okay, the ACF or
right.
different groups, and say, okay, these chefs here are going to take me under their wing and show me what they know. We don't. That's something that's not done anymore. A lot more now, than it used to be. What, 10 years ago?
Right. In culinary school, the problem is you'll hear students say, "My chef don't know what they're talking about. My chef is stupid. My chef don't know this. My chef don't know that." And what I always have to tell the student is, your chef knows a lot more than what they're teaching you.
Yeah,
You can't even
yeah,
grasp the basic.
yeah,
Why are they going to teach you other stuff that
yeah.
they know about? Because they've been
You want to
cooking for
learn
20
stuff? Yeah,
years. They've been cooking for
yeah.
20 years. They know a lot more than what you think. They
And they'll
have
be
to
like, "Oh, I
get
work at
you
this
through one
restaurant.
on
I work
one.
with this chef, and he says this, so that means this is wrong." Okay, well, make the mother sauces for me, which most restaurants don't make mother sauces. A lot of times they'll buy sauces. And I tell people, I was a saucier chef for 2 years. All I did was soups and sauces for 2 years. And the chef kept telling me, "You're not going to do nothing else for 2 years until you master this. And then I'll move you somewhere else." And it was like, okay, but you know what? Those 2 years of me just doing soups and sauces gave me a background for a lot of other things. Like, okay, hold up. I can take these soups and sauces, these 5 sauces, and make them into how many other sauces that taste great, that people are gonna love, and things like that. Or I can take these soups, and now this one soup today is such and such tomorrow, or this one item that was left over today is such and such soup tomorrow, and it gave you a totally different mindset of everything. But not having a chef tell me, "Listen, sit down, and this is all you're gonna do for 2 years." I would have been just like a lot of other chefs. I'm just going to bounce from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant to restaurant, because of the fact that I don't think the chef knows enough, or I don't think the chef likes me enough to teach me what he's doing. And what young chefs have to realize is, if the chef doesn't see something in you, he can't see something in you that you don't see in yourself. If you don't see yourself progressing, that chef is not going to see it. And they can help you as much as they want, but until you say to yourself, "I want to learn, I want to grow," then it doesn't happen. No one's going to give it to you. And we as people just have to accept that fact. No one's going to give it to you. We have to go out and actually make things happen, but you have to learn along the way. So
Some cooks, like I say, for me, I'm always trying to work with. Like, I sit on 2 advisory boards with high
yeah.
schools. One in Jacksonville, one in St. Augustine. I work with another high school here in town. When I lived in Seattle, I was with the Washington Restaurant Association, Ed
Mhm.
Foundation. I judged competitions. And I would always, and now that I'm a member of the ACF, I'm one of the founding members of the ACF chapter in
And
Daytona.
that's it.
I
Okay.
used to I used to be the president here in Jacksonville, and I'm always looked at the young students, the young cooks, that they want to be bright eyed and bushy tailed. Like, I just had a conversation with somebody. They're working at a hotel, and they
Uh-huh.
want to do their own. They want to do their own business. And I told them this. Now I'm gonna change your thought. Instead of you thinking you going to work, they're paying you to come to work. Think of it as they're paying you to learn how to run your business.
Yes. That's
I
the
say, so
key.
you learn everything. You don't quit.
Hmm.
Learn everything from the meetings. As she says, they do off campus, off site catering. I said, you don't just show up at the catering gig. You figure
Learn
out
everything you can.
you need to learn the logistics of how they
Yeah.
got all the food and the personnel from the
Yep.
hotel to the venue, set up, work, and break down, and back to the hotel. I said, when you start learning how to do that logistic, when you go to do your catering, you're going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I said,
Yep.
so switch your mindset. They're not paying you to do a job. They're paying you to learn how to do a
Lots of
job.
man. Thank you. That's a big key. So Last question we have in this video interview is, what is your favorite culinary destination and why?
My favorite culinary destination.
See, you've been to too many places.
But you know what? I'm going to go with Seattle. I'm gonna go with Seattle.
Is
And
that because you've been there so many times and you know Seattle like the back of your hand?
no, so I lived in Seattle for 11 years, and when I left Jacksonville in 2000, I thought I knew things.
Yeah,
When I got to Seattle, it like put my culinary passion and food and everything on steroids,
yeah.
because I had the opportunity to work with a master Japanese, a master sushi chef, a Japanese master chef, Chef Tak. I got an opportunity to work with some amazing black chefs up
Mhm.
in Seattle. I've got to meet just amazing chefs, black and white chefs to build, and you just don't meet them, you learn from them.
Yeah,
You learn
yeah,
everything, and everybody's doing totally different.
yeah.
You got chefs that's doing like McKinney, she does vegan food, which is amazing food. Then you have Sabrina that's doing Italian. Then you have, just Mediterranean and all these things.
Mhm.
But when we come together to do an event, everybody's helping each other out.
Yeah,
You get to work with local farmers. Um, and one thing I noticed is when they bring, I used to think they were food snobs until I figured out they're not food snobs. They eat what's in season.
yeah.
And coming from the South, if I have strawberries in June, I want them in December.
Yeah. That's
But
that's like with the way food is processed nowadays. That's We're losing that. So now a lot of farm to table restaurants or seasonal restaurants are making a comeback now because so many chefs are saying, listen, there's no potatoes or there's no grapes this time of the year. Or these grapes here, these muscadine grapes only grow 2 months out of the year. They're only cultivated 2 months out of the year. I'm not going to have it in December when I know that time of the year they're not in season. So that means they came from however many miles away to get here versus coming from up the road. So a lot of places now that are really, really doing great work, a lot of chefs that are doing really great work are touching stuff that, okay, if your state touches my state, I'll get something from there versus having to get it over from California to bring it over and saying, oh, we want to have this because it's in season in California. Everything
right,
is in season in California all year round.
all year round. Well, the other thing about Seattle that I love, well, not just Seattle, Washington State. There's You can have any kind of food you want in Washington State. That was my
Yeah,
first time going to a Chinatown.
yeah,
Amazing. That was my first time really sitting down and having a conversation with a Japanese master chef. As my, you know
hmm,
what I'm saying? Just these, and when I was talking with them, they were like, I learned how to do Japanese food because his company did all the food going to Japan on the airlines. So
yeah.
I had an opportunity to work with him, his cook, his chef for 8 months. So that's how I learned how to do those things. I was with the Chinese Baptist Church. They're the scoutmaster. His family owned a noodle shop for 4 generations. So I've seen, all the noodles that come straight out of off the
Hmm.
machines versus going to the store and buy them. I would always go to
Yeah,
there and do that. So, like I said, just the hodgepodge of flavors in that one state, from the food, the wine, the people, that the just the whole thing was just amazing. Um,
that's great to hear. I mean, and that's the thing to where um, once you become a traveling chef, your palate and your taste bud in your culinary horizon expands a lot more. Honestly, um,
yeah, I mean, don't
because
get me
it opened
wrong.
up the whole world for me.
It's like you say, I've been to Puerto Rico.
Hmm.
To Haiti and everything like that. And Puerto Rico was good for me because I grew up cooking Puerto Rican food. But going to Haiti was nice. But I blend everything now.
Yeah,
So when I cook, it's fusion cuisine. It's
yeah,
world fusion. I do all kind of stuff. So, but I love to work with other chefs that cook totally different than I do. I don't want you to cook like me
Yeah.
because I want to learn something from you.
Yep.
Like I always tell people, I want to steal something from you so you can steal something from me.
And you know what? It's ultimately it's all borrowing. We
Oh
borrow
yeah.
from each other every day. I might see something on your page like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take that and kind of tweak it and see how it comes out or whatever. But that's that's that chef world. That's
But
that chef world. You have to love it to do it.
right, I was hanging out with Chef Shula and Chef
Yeah,
Loving, the certified master chefs,
yeah,
and we were in the kitchen, and Sean Chef Loving comes in and said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm just trying to steal some recipes." He said, "No, no,
yeah.
no. Look," he said, "No, no, you ain't got to steal them. We'll give them to you." I'm like, "Okay." Broke out my pen and pencil. Like,
Some
so I
some of the
mean, you
best
just got to
conversations
collaborate.
I've had was with Chef Schuler.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Sitting there talking to him. He's and people don't realize he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's serious, but he's a funny guy. And it's like, you know what? It's to be able to say, you know, I can pick up the phone and call a fellow chef first of all, and
Right.
then another master chef is a blessing because it's that thing of, okay, you know what? I made enough of a impression on him. He's made enough of an impression on me for us to say, you know, let's stay friends. Let's stay in contact. Same thing with you. We've been buddies for what, 10 years at least.
Yeah.
And
At
just
least
back
at
and
least
forth. It
that.
was like, okay. So, but
And we've had some interesting conversations.
oh yeah, not anything on air that we can share, but that's going to be the end of our show today. Again,
Thank you,
this
sir.
is a great friend, amazing chef Amadeus. Please check him out. Follow him on all his social media stuff. His website, check out the Southern Passion tour that he has coming up. Buy his seasonings on his website. Buy his seasonings and chefamadeus.net. Definitely support this brother. He's doing great things as far as the culinary world is concerned. Chef, I'll definitely talk to you later.
All right. Look forward to it.
Have a good one.